Alright, looks like we are up and running, and that's what we want to see after last night's mishaps. Apologies for that, folks, if you were getting ready to train with us and realised that I hadn't charged my laptop and I had performance issues. Sorry about that, won't happen again. Welcome to Start Building Me, my nightly training session to prove to you that consistency with exercise is far more important than intensity and duration of your exercise. It's pointless. Well, it's not pointless to train once or twice a week, folks, but really it should be seen just like eating, sleeping, and for most of you, watching TV. I won't get started on that, but anyway, my whole point is you've got to exercise, folks. It is a fact. There are a million reasons why you've got to exercise. Exercise and diet synergize and is what bases your health. So people go down kicking and screaming, whinging about exercise. Folks, don't be one of those people, because in the end, the only person that loses out is yourself. And most people try and get into it after it's too late. So don't be one of those. I've seen it happen too many times where people get some unfortunate news that they've neglected their health to that point. They've got to turn it around, but they are unable to and don't have the capacity anymore. So please, for the love of whatever deity that you pray to on a nightly or daily basis, exercise daily. Without further ado, let's get going. I am going to start with, yes, it's called exercise, but they are known as squats. So line up your feet more or less straight, sit back into your heels, weight goes to the outside of your feet. That's why you have arches in your feet, folks, because the weight gets distributed between your toes, the outside of your feet, and back into your heels. And continue to breathe when you're doing it. So for me, because I've got bad posture, I have to stand really wide to make sure that my back stays perpendicular to the ground, right? But for all intents and purposes, since it's not a weighted squat, it really doesn't matter if my my head moves forward, provided my back is in a neutral position and doesn't round like that, folks. That's what does the damage, right? So what you're just trying to do is try and stay more or less straight in it. And I'm always aiming for 50. I did a bit of a cycle just then. Can barely talk now, but that's just because I'm talking and not breathing. So without further ado, big breath. We're going to be in and out of 15, 20 minutes, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you might want to do 3, you might want to do 1, it really doesn't matter. Just do whatever you've got. And these shorts are too short. And my mic bit's falling out. See how it goes, see how annoying it gets. Hope you've had a good idea, yes, I hope you've had a good idea. I hope you've had a good day wherever you are in the world. If you're watching this live or watching it on repeat, I hope you get something from it, folks. Just a quick reminder that we have to exercise. That's all I'm trying to show you. No products, no supplements, no subscription programs, just your time. Give it to me. I'm rewarded by the attention that I get from people online and the messages that I get via Twitch. Sorry if you are on Facebook, I do not read the messages there until later on. This is mainly Twitch and a little bit of YouTube as well. And breathe, folks. That's the most important thing about Start Building Me is relax. Relax into it. Don't stress yourself out. People get into this downward spiral with exercise where they freak themselves out of doing it. Don't be one of those people. Just do the bare minimum. Do it consistently. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. So I get, even somebody who's trained for their entire life, I jump on YouTube on all these different fitness channels, and one, the amount of information they have is just insane. And two, it's like, even for me, it's like, this is so irrelevant. All the stuff that they're talking about is like, maybe sort of important if you're like a Tour de France cyclist or something really extreme, or just some, gym junkie or something like that, because I mean, it's just really not necessary, folks. It's just weight goes up, weight goes down. That's exercise. Body goes down, body goes up, body goes down, body goes up. Even if you just did that a few times a day, you don't even have to be here watching it, right? All you have to do is support your body weight under gravity, whether it's standing up off a chair, sitting down onto your bed, whatever it is. That's essentially what a squat is, right? It's just a very, very basic, what we call a compound movement, where you're using multiple groups of muscles at the same time in a coordinated fashion. The coordinated part is totally underestimated by people that go to the gym, and they're doing a lot of isolated exercises or bad, extremely terrible compound movements with terrible coordination, where you're just going to end up doing damage. That's why I'm just teaching people basic squats and push-up variations, because until you've really mastered those, there's really no point going on to anything else. You're just going to do damage, right? And there'll be a lot of the people who, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. See how old they are. They're usually like 20-year-olds. And when I was 20 years old, I knew everything as well. And guess what? You don't. So I'm trying to teach people the safest and most efficient way to exercise. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're aiming for longevity, folks, not performance. Performance comes in time. At the moment, we're aiming for longevity. We're trying to develop your coordination, something that people are terrible at. I go to the gym and you can just see it in people's physiques. What we used to call the triangles, the big reverse triangle dudes with like massive shoulders, massive biceps, massive backs, and then these pin little legs. Or the reverse triangles, which I think are just as, stupid. These dudes with these big dump truck legs and butts and, massive calves and everything, and then these puny little shoulders and tiny necks, and, or people who just run and they're just emaciated. It's like, even you'll find dudes that are like professional runners will still do upper body weights, because there's symmetry involved in your whole body, folks. And people just haven't really grasped that, even at quite advanced levels, even though that's debatable. I wouldn't really call them that advanced. Is we have to coordinate our whole body. You can't just thrash one element of your body, the beach muscles or your legs, and have these massive legs. Like, there's no way you're going to be coordinated. There's no way somebody that has enormous legs because they want to do big squats, or a rugby player, is going to have balance. 100% core. But core is overrated as well. It's like, people, like, you do core from walking, right? You do core from running, as you know, and from swimming. Like, there's so many exercises, like basically everything works your core, sitting upright, whatever, right? And I admit, you want to have it a coordinated core. You want to make sure you do exercises where you're going to be putting your core under a suitable amount of time under tension, without just thrashing it about like a fish out of water, doing ridiculous crunches and squats. Nothing wrong with, I was going to say pull-ups, sit-ups and squat and crunches. There's got to be some sort of systematic nature to your core exercise. So these exercises do core as well, right? So think about it. It's like you're trying to keep your body balanced. Think of a pendulum. So when it's coming down, when your weight is coming down, just the fact that you have to keep your core rigid to stop flopping over like that is a core exercise. So you'll find dudes that have massive squats are going to have a massively strong core, right? And if you if you mess up your squat technique, you'll absolutely destroy your core and like pull something out of a line underneath the muscles. So in your spine, or the vertebrae in your disc can get bulging discs and herniated discs, because your core wasn't strong enough for the exercise that you're doing. So basically, as I'm always saying with here, you've got to absolutely dominate these movements first. This should be absolutely well-oiled. 8, 9, 10. We were working through a chapter and a video that I'm doing for Start Building Me. Part of the foundations, absolutely. The 4 stages of competence, folks. The 4 stages of competence need to be thought about a lot in life in general. But once you've cleared that unconscious incompetence and you're in that unconscious competence phase, where you're just like, okay, I know that I suck at it, but I know why it's important. This is a phase that, you know, people really need to get to for pretty much anything in life. But obviously you've got to get past that unconscious incompetence first. And the quickest way to get out of it, I think, is, like I said, the squatter's got to be the first one to master. People that I know that can do more push-ups than squats, something's definitely out of whack there. Even though you could argue because chimps are all upper body and, you know, lower body, all we need is strength and we don't need endurance, I still think we need a little bit more balance than that, no pun intended. Anyway, this is the most important movement because it's something you do every day. You don't do a push-up every day, right? But everybody goes from that position to that position or reversed all day. So why not try and do it properly, right? If you're doing something every day, it's like brushing your teeth. If you were doing a bad job at brushing your teeth every day and still getting cavities, you would be like, maybe I should do something about it. A lot of people get bad back problems. A lot of people get, you know, posterior chain imbalances, hamstring, glute, lower back, because they haven't really thought about what they're doing. And you see people at desks and beds and stuff, like I always explain, those, you know, cow dolls and goats and stuff where you're pushing the little stand underneath it and they just collapse. Like, that's the way I see people do stuff, like in a very uncoordinated, in my opinion, undignified way. Like, there's some element of poise where ancient Greek scholars used to say, for the first 20 years of our lives, we should just be spending our time on physiology and gymnastics. And I think there's something to that, you know, probably not entirely, but we should really be thinking about our surroundings, situational awareness. The reason I'm doing this is because there's so much more than just your health and appearance to be gained by mastering exercise. It is something that, like I said, it translates to everything if you agree that it's a keystone habit, which I know Sal in the house is going to agree with me because obviously it is our keystone habit and something that we have evolved over our lives into other skills, music, visual art, computer programming, university studies, marathon running, cross-country cycling in Sal Star Jump's case, me for boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, freestyle wrestling, surfing, whatever you're doing, is you see that consistency is required for mastery and time management is a big part of that. That's why I'm doing videos on that. I signed up to my stock footage site so I can start pumping out videos, much better subversion than previously. Anyway, without further ado, I'm stalling. Breathe. Suck it in. One reason that you want to breathe when you're squatting as well, never forget, it keeps your torso rigid when you've got a full lung sacs, air sacs, lung sacs, what do we call it? Full lungs, air-filled lungs. When you have your when you have your lungs filled with air, that's the general motion that you want to do. That's how you do it with a barbell squat. Fill up your air, fill up your lungs. Too much sun today, folks. Up on the way out. That's how you want to do it. That sort of cadence, as we say in weightlifting, 1, 0, 1. 1 second down, 0 second pause, 1 second back up. Really feel your toes dig inside of your feet and your heels. I'm gonna bust out 5 more, see how my shoulders feel doing a few push-ups. Record my rebuild videos the last 2 days that I wasn't able to do due to my setup, keeping them nice and short. Felt pretty low on energy today, felt low on mood as well. Slammed the gym like ridiculously hard, like at least an hour and a half straight weights and ancillary stuff for about half an hour after. Then couldn't get to sleep. And then my little rat, Sergeant Ratley, got me up at 5 o'clock terrorizing the neighborhood. Here he goes, he must have heard me. Must be the mailman. Finally, my keto strips are arriving. Please leave it there. I hate it. You wait. Not really. I'm going to do videos about semantics and all these charlatans. Like basically a few things, I'll get to your point. There are charlatans that are like using the semantics. Oh, diets are pointless. You should just focus on nutrition. It's like, it's just semantics. It's like when you talk to like people studying mammals, like they're talking about a chimp's diet. They're not talking about a chimp going down to Whole Foods and like, oh, I'm going to do the keto diet today. Like, it's just semantics. Diet, nutrition, who gives a shit what you call it? It's the same thing. It's the other people, these charlatans online that are trying to differentiate the difference between steroids and hormones. It's like, steroids are hormones, you idiots. You absolute freaking liars. Like trying to say, oh, actually, I don't take testosterone. I don't take steroids. I take hormones. It's like, it's exactly the same thing. And they're just trying to like, you know, be shifty operators, which is, you know, pathetic basically. And what was the other one that always, oh yeah, and people are saying, oh, mouth breathing is stupid. It's like, look, there are some studies, you know, n=3 where there's virtually no numbers suggesting that it's far more important to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. Ideally, like generally when I'm trying to relax, in through my nose, out through my mouth. The stress relieving technique is in through your nose, double in through your nose after you've had a breath in, out through your mouth, right? But as you've probably noticed when you've done a big ride or a big run, sometimes it goes out the windows for a while, and I think if you're just gonna breathe in and out through your mouth and then try and compose yourself and get it back in through your nose, out through your mouth, I think it's much of a muchness. Ideally, it's the diffusion that's happening through your lungs, you know, to get oxygen to your brain. I mean, how that happens, the nuance about it, like the difference that people try and play between it, absolutely minimum. The only compelling evidence I've ever heard from it is not from scientists, but from somebody like Wim Hof, who, you know, I'll take somebody's study from it who does a marathon in the Arctic Circle without shoes on and board shorts, you know? Like, there's a lot of people who are like, never listen to anyone who's not an academic or a, you know, scientist. I think that's, speaking of charlatans and misleading, I don't know, Wim Hof's got some pretty compelling evidence, right? Not just studies, not just, you know, theories. Like the dude does some crazy stuff, and the stuff that I'm applying in my freezer every morning, oh, it's like I said, it's truly life-changing. Anyway, 10 more of these. I'm going to do some push-ups, see how many I've got. My shoulder's kind of sore, so I'm not really going to go for broke. And I'm going to do my rebuild videos and go get some food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't neglect your body, folks. If you do not work your body will not work. It's the same with your brain. Don't neglect it. There we go, down to the floor cam. Bust out 10 to start off with. Could be 3, could be 2, could be 1. Do them off your knees if you need to. We're just pushing our blood around the body, folks. It doesn't really matter. I will do videos specifically on different variates, but that is not the time. I am slightly behind schedule today, having to do rebuild videos, and I want to get out of the way because I am quite tired. Everest in shorts. Yeah, there you go. Like, yeah, like, what is science, right? The scientific method is test, retest, form a hypothesis, and as a result of that, have your null hypothesis. You know, compose an experiment where you suggest what method you're going to be doing to test it, show your results, and draw your conclusions from those results. Like, how is that not a scientist? Like, he's the epitome of it compared to the dudes who are just like, what's more delicious? We're getting money from a company to see if Pepsi or Coke is more delicious. You know, that's science as well. Like, it's just a sad state of affairs, to the point where somebody like Jim Heathers, you know, was a research doctor and was just saying that it was just whatever salacious and sexy is going to get you money, and he said that's not science, and left and went to the private sector, which just shows you, right, the reality of it. Dr. Wim Hof, for all I care. I think the stuff that he is teaching people is crazy cool, and he seems like a crazy cat. I like him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ketogenic diet is going gangbusters. I feel good. Like I said, I feel tired today after absolutely destroying myself at the gym. I could barely walk home. Seeing stars. Boiling hot. Crazy, but good session. Feeling good. Feeling very good indeed. 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to try and get out of here in 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What have we got here? Australia Post. Your shipment has been delivered. Good. My mailman's a legend. It's like that, what are they called? The Bloodhound Gang song. It's like, do you have time to sit around and wait for the mail? Yeah, I do. That's exactly what I was doing all day. Well, that and cycling. What else did I do? I had to go get dog food. Get some stuff for the lads. Keith's 3rd birthday on Friday. Australia Day tomorrow, so I had to get some meat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hoo-wee. 1 minute left. Can you do 10 more? I think you can. Anyway, folks, if you're in the UK, go get it. In Australia, take it easy. Have a good night wherever you are, whatever you're doing. 1 minute left on the clock. How many have you got left? Having my colostrum protein and half a banana, as to not break my keto diet. And 20 grams of psyllium husk and 20 grams of MCT extra virgin coconut oil. Dinner of champions. And if you're wondering, that doesn't sound like it's enough. If you have 60 grams of protein and 20 grams of really high quality medium chain triglyceride oil and 20 grams of psyllium husk, which is 18 grams of pure fiber, which is so much more fiber than you could eat like a bowl of vegetables, epic bowl of vegetables, and it wouldn't have anywhere near that much fiber in it. So check it out. Psyllium husk, 10 bucks a pack. Chemist Warehouse, one of my favorite places in the world. 10 more, let's get out of here. Have a good night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Love y'all, have a good night.